Hello and welcome to the Dark Mount video review at last for Transformers Generations Arcee. Arcee is obviously a character that everyone seems to love, but we don't get very many of, and when we do get them, they're very rarely G1 Arcee, which this very much is. So the fact that we've gotten this now is pretty awesome, because the closest thing we had really gotten before that was the animated Arcee, and she was still kind of very cartoonish and stylized, so having one that doesn't have a giant cartoon head is pretty nice. Arcee is obviously a tiny little pink sports car. She's got little wheels, but she does kind of look like she's floating, just because the wheels are very thin and where they're placed and where... I mean, it's believable. She is definitely a little car, though. She has a little seat and panel, and I don't know. She's got a very little Barbie-esque feel to her. Kind of Jetsons Barbie. She has a lot of stuff going on underneath. It's basically just a big mash of robot kibble. As you will see, her larger gun fits right here. Her smaller gun fits in right here to the back of her waist, and her hands hold onto it. A lot of people are saying that her arms don't peg into anything. They peg in really fine right there. That keeps everything very stable, nothing moves, the gun stores under there. Again, this is one of those things where I don't use directions, so the moment I open a figure, the directions stay in the box. I don't take them out, I don't look at them, they get thrown out with the box for me. So I have no idea if this is stated in there and people just aren't seeing it. If they didn't put this in the directions, I have no clue, but the arms do peg in there, and they hold on fine. So there's that. The swords, however, don't really have anywhere to go except the sides of the car, or they can kind of fit up here, but it looks weird and they kind of angle upwards, so they have kind of a natural curvature there that allows them to fit very closely to the curve of the leg. So it doesn't look terrible, but I do definitely prefer the way the car looks just as a car. That looks pretty neat and kind of silly retro futuristic, which is the way I think of Arcee. For some size comparisons, here she is next to Generations Chromia. And obviously Chromia is supposed to be a motorcycle, so she's gigantic next to a car, but she's not. She's like a Cybertronian motorcycle, so maybe they're car-sized? I don't know. And just for fun, here she is next to MP Bumblebee. Transforming Arcee is actually not as easy as you might expect. It's not super complicated, but it's got enough steps to it that it's not super simple either. I usually start just by coming in here and popping the gun out of the back part. And the way that pegs in is that it's got these two pegs on both sides, and then this long thing fits in right there. And then you can kind of come in here and just pop the gun out, and you can see the way that that folds in. You just kind of peg both sides onto her hands, and then fold that in, and it'll fit in right there. So you can take that, set that off to the side, and then her legs kind of squeeze into these little areas right there, and then you can fold this whole bit up like that. You're going to rotate these down and flatten these out like so. And the wheels will kind of fold into the legs when you do that, which is cool. You can come back here and fold this under like so. Straighten these two arms out. And then you want to kind of take these pink things and pop them past this whole black thing. And straighten this out like that. Come in here and pop this middle section out, which is going to reveal her head and all that stuff. And then this thing is on kind of a double joint. And what you want to do is straighten these like that, and then line these up with the shoulders, and then plug all this stuff together. And then just snap the head in. Like this neck portion kind of snaps in to the back. And then all you have to do is just straighten her feet out. Helps to give her legs a little bit of a natural bend. She stands much better. There you have Arcee in her robot mode. For articulation, Arcee has a really nice ball joint on her head, and she also has this neck thing going on. She's got ball joints for her shoulders, upper arm rotation, a ratcheted elbow, which is surprising with an elbow this size, no hand articulation. There is apparently a hand variant where some of them are closed and some of them are open. I got the open one, I guess. She doesn't have any waist articulation. She has kind of universal joints in the hips, and then the inward and outward transformation joint. Rotation above the knee, and foot movement. And her foot is kind of molded at an angle so she can stand wide-legged, which is nice. Her face sculpt is primarily G1. It's not really super based on the comics, but it's got enough comic accuracy that it pulls it off. It doesn't look weird. She's kind of a strange mix between G1 and comic aesthetic, but she's kind of mostly just an updated G1. And then obviously you can also arm her up with some different weapons. If you so choose. And she also has kind of hip holster areas that you can use to store her guns or her swords. I'm guessing her swords would get in the way a lot. I haven't tried that yet. My final thoughts on this figure are that she's really, really solid. It's really great to finally get a version of Arcee that is comic accurate enough to stand in, but it's also a nice callback to the G1 Arcee. We never really got a proper toy for her. So, sorry about the squeaking. This is a great figure. I can't say enough good stuff about it. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.